Big news is breaking across the nation. Former President Donald J. Trump is reportedly preparing to roll out a new round of stimulus-style rebate checks aimed at helping millions of Americans facing crushing inflation. According to several reports, Trump's plan includes payments of $1,000 to $2,000, which he's calling a dividend to the people. The idea behind this initiative is to return some of the hundreds of billions of dollars collected from tariffs on foreign imports directly to U.S. citizens. Analysts are calling this one of the most significant economic discussions happening right now, especially as more Americans are finding themselves struggling just to afford life's basic necessities. Before we dive deeper into this breaking development, I want to take a moment to welcome you to Truth Lens, the channel where we look beyond the headlines and examine the real impact of economic and political events on everyday Americans. Here on Truth Lens, we don't just repeat what's trending, and we break it down, analyze it, and uncover how decisions made in Washington affect you, your family, and especially our seniors who depend on Social Security and fixed incomes to survive. Every story we tell has one purpose: to shed light on the truth that matters most to the people who are often forgotten in the noise, the hardworking, retired, and struggling citizens of this nation. Now back to this headline-making update. Trump's proposal reportedly involves sending out tariff rebate checks to roughly 78 million Americans earning $100,000 or less. He has said these payments would be directly funded by the massive revenue collected through tariffs his administration imposed on foreign nations. Trump referred to it as giving back to the American people what is rightfully theirs, a dividend that reflects the country's economic strength. This plan comes at a time when inflation has skyrocketed and millions of families are finding themselves unable to afford everyday items. What's even more telling is how shopping habits have changed. There was a time when Black Friday was about lining up for electronics, new TVs, or holiday gifts. Now people are counting down to Black Friday just to stock up on groceries and basic necessities. That's how deeply this inflation crisis has affected average Americans. Adding to the chaos is a recent Supreme Court decision allowing Trump's team to pause full SNAP food stamp payments, leaving millions without access to the benefits they depend on for food. According to CNN, this pause affects around 42 million Americans who rely on these payments to feed themselves and their families. Many states have publicly stated they simply don't have the money to refill TABT cards or fund SNAP benefits right now. It's an alarming situation, especially when you consider that some of the hardest hit individuals are low-income seniors who depend on these benefits to supplement their Social Security checks. For many older Americans living on fixed incomes, SNAP benefits often make the difference between eating 3 meals a day or going hungry. In the middle of all this, Trump's camp argues that there's already hundreds of billions of dollars collected from tariffs, and those funds could be used to help Americans directly. Trump himself has claimed that these tariffs could eventually generate over $1 trillion annually, which he believes justifies distributing a portion back to citizens. During an interview with One America News, he said, "We're collecting so much from tariffs that it's only fair we pay some of it back to the people." He also emphasized that his first priority would be paying down the national debt, which stands at a staggering $37 trillion, but added that he wants to make a distribution to the people as a form of shared prosperity. This announcement couldn't come at a more critical time. Inflation continues to eat away at paychecks and retirement benefits alike. For working class families, the cost of food, gas, and rent has made daily survival a challenge. But for seniors, it's even worse. Many older Americans who depend on Social Security as their only source of income are watching their dollars lose value every month. The latest cost of living adjustment hasn't been enough to offset inflation. And with Medicare premiums rising, seniors are left with even less in their pockets. Across the country, Countless retirees are now forced to make heartbreaking choices between buying food or refilling prescriptions, between paying rent or heating their homes. If this proposed stimulus or tariff dividend becomes reality, it could be a momentary relief for millions, especially those living on Social Security. A check of $1,000 to $2,000 may not solve long-term financial struggles, but it could help cover overdue bills, groceries, or medical expenses that many seniors desperately need. The reality is that America's elderly population has been hit the hardest by rising costs. They've already paid their dues, worked their whole lives, contributed to this country's growth, and yet in their golden years, too many are living on the edge of poverty. It's heartbreaking to think that in the richest nation on earth, our seniors are skipping meals because they can't afford groceries, or splitting pills because they can't afford full prescriptions. Analysts say that if Trump does move forward with these checks, it could not only help struggling households, but also boost his popularity during a time when many voters are frustrated with the government's handling of inflation and rising living costs. The idea of giving back money collected from foreign tariffs is certainly unique, and it's gaining attention from both supporters and skeptics. Some experts argue that this could be a smart economic move, redistributing tariff revenue to citizens instead of letting it sit unused, while others claim it's a political maneuver designed to win support during a time of financial hardship. Regardless of the motivation, one thing is clear: Americans are desperate for relief, and any financial assistance would be a welcome lifeline right now. But this issue also raises larger questions about fairness and priorities. If the government truly has billions available from tariff revenues, why hasn't that money been used to restore SNAP payments or strengthen Social Security? Why are millions of seniors and low-income citizens left waiting, wondering how they'll survive the next month? For older Americans especially, these unanswered questions hit close to home. Many seniors spent their lives contributing to the very system that now seems unable to support them. They deserve stability, dignity, and respect, not uncertainty about whether they'll have enough to eat or keep a roof over their heads. Trump's plan to issue these rebate checks, whether you agree with it or not, taps into a very real truth. Americans are struggling like never before. Inflation is not just a number on a chart. It's the silent crisis that's changing lives. It's the reason families are cutting coupons, seniors are rationing medicine, and millions are relying on charity or food pantries just to survive. It's why people who once lived comfortably are now living with constant anxiety about money. For seniors, every dollar counts, and the loss of purchasing power is pushing many to the breaking point. As this story develops, it's becoming more than just an economic headline. It's a reflection of the growing divide between those who make policies and those who live with their consequences. While politicians debate, millions of Americans, including our elderly, are quietly struggling to hold on. They're the ones feeling the weight of inflation in the checkout line, at the pharmacy, and when they open their monthly Social Security deposit to see it's not enough. The idea of receiving an extra check, whether it's called a stimulus, a rebate, or a dividend, isn't just about politics. For many, it's about survival. At Truth Lens, we'll continue to follow this story closely, examining how this proposed tariff rebate could reshape the financial landscape for Americans across the country, particularly for our seniors who deserve more than just promises. They deserve action, relief, and respect. As the discussion unfolds, one thing remains clear. Millions of retirees and working class families are still waiting for the day when the system truly works for them, when they can finally breathe a little easier and live without the constant fear of running out of money before the month ends. This is Truth Lens, uncovering the truth, one story at a time.